I swear I got beef with the Marlies, cause they're trying to take over the town,
I spin that Guardi, you ain't never had beef with the Marlies. I back my blade and spill that juice, that Capri ain't hardy. We pull up at any party.
I swear I got...
Wow. Now, Trump warned us about this years ago. Fraud, abuse, and zero accountability. They laughed. They dismissed it. They called it racist. Now the receipts are piling up. Enforcement is back, and Ilhan is watching her entire narrative slip away in panic mode, might I add. Now, in this clip, this is how the truth spreads in 2025. This is how the truth is spreading, right? Not through CNN, obviously, but through memes. When people feel protected by a political class, they get bold, and eventually that turns careless. And Trump saw this culture problem long before the media admitted it. However, I want you to see what he recently said. Let's have a little flashback.
That a person that comes in and does nothing but bitch and comes from a place where she shouldn't be telling us what to do. She shouldn't be telling us, and everybody agrees with me. And what's happening in Minnesota with Somalia, where billions of dollars is being stolen, right, like candy from a baby, we're not going to let that go on. And it's too great a state to have that happening. And guys like Tom Emmer and others, Pete Stauber, guys like them, they're going to stop it. And they're going to be given the authority to stop it. Because this country's not going to put up with it anymore. And a person that
I know that's right. I know that's right. Man, I'm so happy I voted for him. Now, hopefully y'all was listening very carefully. Trump isn't guessing, right? He's not hedging. He says billions stolen on camera, name in Minnesota. That's leadership. Say it plainly, say it publicly, and force accountability. All we can do is sit back and hope that something actually comes of this. We know the Democrats are pretty slick, and they've been able to get away with a whole lot. And once Trump puts the pressure on, though, the connections start coming into focus even harder.
Under the nose of Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, we see a web of connections between them and those directly involved in the fraud. For example, Ilhan Omar alleged enabling introducing the 2020 Meals Act, which was ultimately subject to fraud, held a campaign victory party at the Safari restaurant. That's where one of the men who run that restaurant has associations to the convicted individuals. And then there's Tim Walz, House Oversight Investigation role in his role as governor, or Keith Ellison, the Attorney General. His job is to enforce the law in Minnesota, but instead he's getting donations after meeting with the Feeding Our Future representatives. The Feeding Our Future, the biggest known yet part of this entire theft ring. The executive director of Black Lives Matter, by the way, over in Oklahoma City, has now been charged with wire fraud and money laundering. The organization raised...
Yes, she has. In my next video, we're going to cover that exactly.
...more than $5 million in 2020, but she is accused of pocketing more than half of that instead of using it to bail out people for protesting in support of BLM. No, she pocketed, allegedly, most of that money. Oh, by the way, here she is. You want to see a picture of her? Here she is. Notice who she's in the picture with. That's right. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. But hey, it's just the system, right? Let's bring in our spotlight.
It's just the system, right? Wow. What a powerful line. If you know, you know. Now, this is where Democrats panic because this isn't accusation. It's geometry. Bills lead to people. People lead to donations. Donations lead to silence. Trump's real threat isn't policy. It's that he forces the lines to connect. And when lines connect, old stories stop staying buried.
What's that? That's the marriage certificate for Omar to her brother. Who posted it? The White House. Yeah, she's probably not going to be here for a long time. If she's allowed to stay after the White House posted that, there's a bigger problem here in this country. They posted all the details of when he arrived, when they got married, everything. On top of all the fraud that she's allegedly involved in, it looks like they're a lot deeper into that investigation than they're letting us see. But her time is coming, and I'm here for it because we've been having this conversation so long, probably a good close to a decade, if not more. Are you going to appreciate and celebrate if she gets deported? Yeah, me too.
Now let's be disciplined, right? Allegations are not convictions. And hopefully, the proof is right there. But here's the shift nobody, is willing to admit. Under Trump, the benefit of the doubt is no longer, it no longer protects you indefinitely, rather. The media doesn't decide what matters anymore. Momentum does. And momentum doesn't argue. It just moves.
Get a new job, you
Hey, watch how you spray that.
He's a German immigrant.
Yep. And this is why I have to pause it for obvious reasons, but I can fast forward to where she ends up next. Now, this clip is ugly and revealing because ideology collapses the moment reality refuses to stop moving. Trump restores something simple and dangerous to activists: consequences. And once consequences return, obviously you see these emotions are spiking.
Bitch, I'm Chief Keef. Fuck who don't like. And bitch, we GBE. We just gon' say.
No, I don't know if that chick has bumped her head and had some kind of brain injury, or maybe that's a little too tight on her head. But baby, this will never be the United States of Somalia. Never. Because I'm going to tell you what, us patriots here, we will never let it happen. You can try all you want. You can come in drones, you can come in forces. I promise you there's always going to be more of us. You will never. It's not going to happen.
Look at that. Look at that. What do you think it means? USA. They're lying to us. You think it's USA, United States of America, but really it means the United States of Abdi. These people are trying to erase us from our motherland, from our promised land.
And she tried to double down. This is not your promised land. Nothing has been promised to you. This is the United States of America. It will always be the United States of America. It will never be the United States of Somalia. I can guarantee that. I promise you, babe. We will not back down.
Now, this isn't about jokes or slogans. It's about a deeper anxiety, right? What happens when generosity is perceived as permission? Trump's argument was never cultural supremacy. It was structural clarity. And clarity, it exposes systems.
Okay, so as long as he brought his birth certificate from Africa, he'll be okay to get his driver's license?
So that is one form of ID that we can accept for the exam process to get him started. The other one needs to bear a signature.
So would you take like a country ID? Because they do kind of similar to
Yeah,
state.
if that's been signed, if there's an immature.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, so I looked at it. So as long as he has his birth certificate from his home country in Africa and a driver's license that has his signature from his country, that should be okay?
So we would be able to use that out-of-country ID for the signature piece as long as that birth certificate has been translated. Do you know if it has?
Yes, he does have his,
It is translated. Okay,
Yeah.
then
Awesome.
we could. Yeah.
Okay, so his name's Mohammed. I guess now the next step would be this. He doesn't speak any English. Is the test done in Somalian?
So for the Class C language, we do translate in Somalia. On that form, that application that I was talking about earlier, there's a box on there that says oral. He would just need to check that.
And how many can you get wrong?
So it is a 30-question multiple choice questions. Once he hits 6, the test will automatically shut off.
Okay, so he can only get 5 wrong out of the 30 to be safe.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
No, this is good. That's actually pretty easy. So he has to get 25 right out of the 30. He did have an issue in Somalia with his driving. Is that going to impact it, or do you guys just not connect with it?
We don't have reciprocity from one country to another, so we don't pull a driving record or anything along those lines.
So if it did lead to an accidental death, when he was driving, he was actually going over a crosswalk and hit a jogger. That's not going to impact the driver's license here, right?
We wouldn't be able to access those records. So again, we don't have reciprocity from one country to another, so we wouldn't be able to pull those records.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'm gonna go actually go down and meet him and get some translators. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Would you like the information for the elections department under the Secretary of State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just.
Their phone number is 207 624 7650.
Okay. I appreciate the help. This was actually a lot easier than I thought. I was expecting it to be a lot more hurdles, so this makes it a little bit easier. I'll go let Mohammed know.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, this clip scares people because it's unfair. And people say it feels unfair. No, it's unfair. Different rules, different standards, and no one able to explain why that's okay. And when people stop trusting systems, anything believable spreads.
We accept the president's words. They came from a place of anger and disappointment. I'm sure many Americans feel the same way.
The president was right to let loose his feelings. It shocked us into understanding the severity of the harm our people caused.
These criminals betrayed America's welcoming spirit. The scale of these crimes has stained the reputation of American Somalis.
America's freedoms allowed us to build a unique community here in Minnesota. In return, we must promise to weed out any evil living among us.
This evil came from within our community. And so, as an honorable community, we take responsibility. We must correct this wrongdoing.
The only way to regain the trust of this nation is to root out crime, stay humble, and be forever grateful. That's the premise.
So, as honorable Somalis, we are going to take on the responsibility of apologizing to all Americans. We are deeply, deeply sorry.
The shame of this will haunt us forever. And hopefully over time you will come to forgive us. Thank you.
Hey, son, you might have to go in the room. You're making some noise, man, and I can't hide it in the video. Now, this clip is probably fake. But that almost doesn't matter. People share it because it feels true to them. Now, here's the real story underneath all this. Ilhan Omar isn't being taken down by one scandal. She's being worn down by accumulation. A meme here, a money question there, no allegation resurfacing, enforcement back in the picture, systems, under scrutiny. None of these end a career on their own, but together? Well, I'll take that back. And together, they change how people feel, for sure. And feelings decide politics long before facts do these days, unfortunately. Trump understood something most politicians don't. You don't need to convince everyone. You just need enough people to stop giving the benefit of the doubt. And right now, that benefit is disappearing. Not because people suddenly hate Ilhan, but because too many things are starting to make sense at once. That's when narrative flips, rather. Excuse me, y'all. And they're doing it with a shrug. And once that shrug happens, it's almost impossible to reverse. If this keeps spreading, not louder, not angrier, just wider, this stops being about Trump versus Omar. It becomes about whether the system that protected her still works. And that question is getting harder to answer every single day. So, if you made it to the end of this video, what I want you to write is, we got you. Hopefully it stick, y'all. Be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.